Hello everybody and welcome back to the Klonoa playthrough. It is time for Vision 6. This song is so close to completion right now. Ah, the Killjoys didn't just leave it on that little note there. They just thought they'd pull it out from under the carpet. Sods. But here we are. We're at the Moon Kingdom, Cress. And so, it is time to begin the two most challenging normal levels in Klonoa. Reason for that is that there are a lot of bottomless pits that we're going to have to contend with, and lots of areas that are blockaded off until we complete certain trials. Some of these are easier than others, but we shall persist. Now the music for Vision 6.1 is Untamed Heart, which is just a quite nice magical type of song. And it's actually something that I find fascinating about Cress the Moon Kingdom and it being the final level of the game. And got that one a bit fine, didn't I? Right, blooming heck. But with Cress, you've got this whole thing of it being filled with nightmare energy, and it's like the end of the world that this has now appeared. And I find that... So part of me finds that slightly difficult to believe, because obviously Cress the Moon Kingdom, in terms of its visual style and its musical style, is very majestic and cool and calm. Like, I would totally get it if this was the Moon Kingdom as envisioned by classical Japanese myths and legend, in the whole that they are cold and heartless and very separate from the world. I would get it then, but this kingdom just seems so beautiful that part of me kind of doesn't believe it to be evil. And to be fair, I suppose, considering what is part of the story, it isn't really. It's just home of... It's the home of something that could cause great evil. Which, I mean, I suppose is fine, but it's not great, is it? But, I mean, I do always love things to do with the moon. I mean, obviously, my love of Bayonetta, and that's all to do with the moon. But also, I mean, whenever you look at the moon in the sky, it's just lovely. And obviously it doesn't shine, but it looks like it's shining because it's reflecting the sun's rays. And also just lots of the things related to it. So obviously the name Cress comes from crescent, because of the crescent moon, which is great. And also, I mean, I have to say, the moon's very important, because if we didn't have the moon, we wouldn't have waves, and if we didn't have waves, we'd probably die. But then, coming back to, because I mentioned like mythology and stuff, you obviously get a lot of lunar deities, and I mean, in the ancient Near East, there's the moon god Sin/Nana, who's masculine. In Greco-Roman mythology, the sun and the moon are represented as male and female. So you have Helios/Sol, or Selene/Luna. And pretty much the crescent has always been the shape representing the moon, largely because I feel the sun's got that whole circle vibe going for it, and while the moon ends up being circular quite often, you need to differentiate them. So, they go for the crescent. And yeah, that's pretty much all I suppose I can talk about in terms of the moon and all that jazz. But I do like this idea, but I feel that the Kingdom of Sorrow in Klonoa 2 Lunarte's Veil is much more effective at being a kingdom that you don't want to appear, because it makes sense in terms of the narrative, because all of the kingdoms in Lunarte's Veil are fun for the most part. So basically each one symbolises a different thing, because you've got Lalakusha, which is the Kingdom of Tranquility, which is good. You have Joylant, the Kingdom of Joy, also good. Then you have Volk, the Kingdom of Discord, which isn't good per se, but is unfortunately necessary quite often. You have the Kingdom of Mira Mira, which is the Kingdom of Indecision, which is also but it's all to do with the reflection and thought, which makes sense. And then you have the Kingdom of Sorrow, which nobody wants to be sad. I mean, why? I mean, unless you're going to see a sad film or a sad play, in which case, yes, you do want to be sad, because then it means that the thing's done its job. But it makes sense in the narrative in terms of everything as to why you would want to forget sadness. Whereas why you'd want to hide away the moon doesn't quite make as much sense, if you catch my drift. Now this room is particularly evil because obviously disappearing platforms and a bottomless pit, because that's fair. You can probably tell I did have to do quite a few annoying retakes on that room, and also because I murdered the Boomy, I wasn't able to get everything on this, which is really annoying, because obviously what you're meant to do is destroy the first Boomy, then be able to grab the second Boomy, throw it at the Mirror Fairy, get down to where you're going to be able to get up to the bigger gem on your climb up, and then once the Mirror Fairy's triggered, then run. But yes, it's slightly easier said than done to pull that off. I mean, just look at how pretty these gems are. How can you not like Crest the Moon Kingdom? I mean, I suppose that's slightly threatening. I mean, I would not like to be housing a big glowing lava magma egg. That just seems slightly dangerous if you ask me. But either way, Vision 6-1 is cleared. We are getting so close to the end of the game now. And this next vision is going to be quite the challenge, I feel. So, as Klonoa indeed says, let's go into Vision 6-2, the time of rebirth. We're about to get so much plot, it's insane.
Papi pifupu, pipu pipa, pafi refi, pifi hipufu, hipu papi pafi. Papi, wohu. Pifuku pifu, hipu papi pi, hipu papi. Papi, hipu hipa, papi. Yupi, Crepe Pipu Papi Yupo. Yupi, Yupopi, Yupopi, Yupo, Papi. Pipa, Yupo, Yupi, Yupopi, Pipa, Yupopi. Yupi, Yupopi. Papi, papi, pipupi, papi, hipopi, Klonoa, Yupo, wahoo, Fierafi, Klonoa, Pipa, Yupo, hipupipo, papi, Pipa, papi, papi, hipipa. Yupo, yupo papi. Pipa!
And so, yes, Hupo is the prince of the Moon Kingdom. He's sort of been lying to us all this time. He's not a cute little ball of goop. He is, in fact, a sort of kid prince in a onesie. I don't think his Moon Kingdom design has ever really impressed anyone all that much. And it is kind of a derpy design, but it is just like one of those moments where if you're not expecting it, you suddenly just go, oh my god! So you see, this game does have twists in it. And oh my... Jumps like this that nearly give you a heart attack in the middle of Klonoa. And this particular vision is full of it. Lots of bottomless pits, lots of incredibly narrow platforms for you to land on. It just... oh my god, it freaks me the hell out every single time. But it's necessary, and also I'm not quite sure how you're meant to get through this little bit without getting hit, but I mean, they give you a heart right after, so I suppose that they were expecting you to get hit during that. Just seems kind of a little bit mean if you ask me. Anyway, we have another brand new enemy here, and these are, I believe... No, it's not an Erbil. I had it turn up. Oh, I believe it might be called a Hornamoo. And if you bear with me 1 second. So yes, they are indeed called Hornamoos. The things with the little boomerang heads that they throw at you. But in this version of the game, they are, well, in Klonoa Door to Phantom Isle, they are called Slazzers, apparently. We'll see what they are fully called when we get to the extras, but Hornamoos and Slazzers are the same thing, but the Hornamoos are seen in the Kingdom of Sorrow in Lunatea's Vale, and Slazzers are in Klonoa Door to Phantom Isle. Same enemy, different names. And the music for this level is the closing encounter, which I feel is very fitting, if you ask me. Now, what's quite fun, well, what's quite annoying about this level is that there's a lot of backtracking involved in it. Because after you have gone through one of those puzzle rooms where you've got to flip the switches, you get put on a course back to this pillar, and then you have to climb all the way back up again and go in the door, and then you need to go to the next door that has opened up. In principle this would be fine, but Klonoa just doesn't really move very fast. And so it can get slightly repetitive. Also, all these moments just really... they get me really, really nervous. And also that is an evil chain to force me to do. Thankfully, I have gotten decent enough at chaining my double jumps now to be fine with it, but it's not going to stop my heart from pumping very loudly whilst performing it. Now, the other thing that I find, well, the thing that I find fun about this level, which is what I was going to mention initially before going on to what bothered me, but either way, it doesn't matter. What I find fun is that you do have those puzzle rooms located in this level, which they do actually make you think about how you're platforming, where you're platforming to, what order you're platforming in, and it's much more complicated than it would at first appear, and for a final proper level it makes sense to throw these more challenging things at you. And these are certainly the biggest challenges that you will have in the standard game. You will have bigger challenges than this, but they all come in the extra content, and extra content is optional, so you might not have to suffer through that. But, okay, we've just got one more of these eggs to do, and then we can actually continue. It's a bit of a waste of one, but yeah, I can live with that. And it may look like we are incredibly close to the end of this level in terms of how many of the Moon Kingdom soldiers we have rescued. We are not. Like, we were only about, say, halfway, well, halfway-ish through. But we have got a lot of plot and boss fightiness occurring right at the end. So, I mean, it's the final main vision of the game. There is a proper final vision, which is the final boss fight, but obviously this is the final standard vision. I do think that it is a pretty awesome final level. Part of me feels like the Kingdom of Sorrow in Lunate's Vale is a bit more epic in terms of what that does in terms of its place in the plot of the game. Also, I mean, I just love the how should I put it? I love the hoverboarding sections. Like, they are the best thing ever. And it took me so long to figure out this room, it was incredibly frustrating. So I just cut out all of that bother because, my god. It drove me up the wall. Because I wasn't thinking, oh wait, that's on the like the one at the end is on the same plane as me. Therefore, I just have to hover afterwards. And don't worry, I did get the gems from that moo. It's just that was on a run through the room that I cut out. Because, yeah, it drove me potty. So, yes, you see, the game just provides more challenges than you might expect, especially when it starts throwing puzzles at you. Because sometimes you might just not think about things properly, like I clearly was not. But that's fine, because this is the final stretch, and I'm hitting that checkpoint. Because, yeah, this just looks like it's going to cause chaos, and yeah, I was indeed right. We've got a massive golden moo chasing us. Yeah, that was one of those moments where you just go, oh, nope, I am just legging it through that. And I am very proud of that chain. Very proud of that chain. That was like super smooth. I just wish that the later chains that I am going to have to perform in the extras is a little bit more... Well, let's just say that they aren't quite as smooth or accomplished, because my head and my heart are just going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So what happens when you are flung into dangerous platforming sections in games? Sort of freak out a little bit, because they can be awfully challenging. But we are so close, so very close to the end now. And that's... Spinner thought he could get away with it. No. Yes, there we go. That is our last Moon Kingdom soldier, which means that is our last Phantomillion to rescue. Which means that we've done it all! Which, oh, it's very satisfying when you achieve that. It's the same as collecting all the dolls in Lunate's Vale. So satisfying. It does sort of make me wish that I was able to do the whole getting all 150 gems thing. Because, you know, then that would be, like, fully, properly completed. And I'd be able to feel like a complete and utter badass. Annoyingly, as I've said many times before, I am just not that good at this game. As you can see by the fact that I get hit so freaking often. And, oh dear, trying to climb this bloody thing. The other annoying thing is that the Slazos or Hornamoos or whatever the hell you want to call them don't respawn until you get to the bottom of the area, which is really, really irritating. So it's either fall all the way down to the bottom or finish your climb. If you can't finish your climb, you've got to fall all the way down to the bottom. It's just like, why, you sod? But anyway, here is our last puzzle room, and actually, this is a lot easier to figure out than the last one, because it's so easy to get up. Because you realise you've got to hit the one on the right or the one on the left, drop down, and then you go up and do the other one, because they'll have, the flying mews will have returned by the time you get to them. So I don't know why they had it that way round, but can deal with that. Because that is our last puzzle, and it is time to head towards our boss fight for the level. And we took down Joker last time. I feel it's probably time to take the fight to Guardius proper, and it's going to be so insanely epic. I can just feel it. I just wish that we didn't have to run all the way past these doors again. But, beggars can't be choosers. And that was nearly incredibly bad. Yes, can you tell that the game is telling you that there's a boss fight coming up? 2 hearts and a life, blimmin' heck. And here we go, it's time to face down Guardius. Musically, in the cutscene we had Guardius laughs, and now we get the Wheel of Woe. Which is very fitting, I feel, because it is indeed a Wheel of Woe. And obviously you can avoid his attacks and grab the death moves, because that's what they're called. Once again, surprisingly dark game, because the moves with no eyes and a sort of spiky mouth. It's slightly terrifying. But yes, you need to grab them and toss them at him. Took me a little while to figure out what I was doing in this fight. So much so that I thought, I'm going to have to restart this one. Because I don't know, I was thinking, oh, I need to hit the head, which makes sense. Because it looks like the head is sort of in the foreground when it isn't. What you need to do is just hit him in the galactic black hole cloak. And once you figure that bit out, he's not too much of a challenge, but he is certainly a fun fight. Because each of his moves is so different. And then obviously if you end up landing in one of those glowy portal things, you end up in a slightly different area. You end up on the outside of the ring and end up having to run to get back, and it's a clever boss fight and I do really enjoy it. This move, however, is a little bit more difficult to suss out, because my thought process was, well, have to grab the death moves from inside of it. And actually no, what the answer is wind bullet one of the corners, and then that will release the death moves, and that is how you are going to be able to get in your attacks. But that isn't necessarily made entirely clear that is what you're meant to do, but it's fine, because I think one more hit should do it, and there we go. Gardius is defeated, and we are victorious. Take that, you evil, evil man. Beast thing.
Chichipa, chichikupa.
Let's go.
Klonoa, Yupo, Pipopi, Papi, Pipa, Papi.
Azabel Jisso. Midmu Nazel Spear Energia. Gargaru Lefi Bega. Goloro Bezadero Nat. Tuar Faltura. Fortuna Tuti Shibi. Verum Devalar Natu.
Chupapi!
Sono Chiferi. Ovelia Boyal Natu. Jibo. What? Boil Pesadero. Total Nazir.
Poppy, Beep, Pahi Bihi, Hibubibo Papi, Bibiba, Bikubi, Hibubibo Papi, Hibi, Hibibo, Papi. キュピポピクピ
雨割りぬ
ルプリルキュポクロアシュピポプシュピポプシュポピふにゅピパガディピピパピシュピポピクロアふやシュピシュポピシュピポピカリュピポ
The end is nigh. Nahatum is awake. We best go up there and stop him. Let's go.